Good morning. Good morning. So, what we're doing is so yesterday we talked about fear and helping us let go of fear going into leaving fear in 2025 and walking, being a little, a layer less of fear going into 2026, helping us to really step into who we are truly meant to be and who we already are, but we can't see who we truly are from all the layers of hiding ourselves, right? Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is grief, grieving, and how that plays a role in our lives, and how to let go of some of these parts of the grieving and leave those in 2025 to help us step fully into who we've always been meant to be and who we already are, but we're hiding under those covers of protection from fear and grief and all the things. So we're going to do like we did yesterday and start with just asking for a little guidance, and then we're going to do a little journaling with it and see where it takes us. So now, disclaimer about the grieving, because grieving is touchy subject. It's touchy because it's very personal, right? And this is not about telling you need to be done with your grieving today. We need to cut off you're not allowed to be sad no more. That's not it at all. There's different parts that come with the grieving, that those are the parts that we want to get help with letting go of, right? So, and that being said too, grieving, there's no one definition of grieving. Is grieving means that you are mourning the loss of a loved one who has passed away. That could totally be it. That could be your spouse, that could be your mother, your father, your daughter, your son, your friend, your uncle, grandparents, whomever. So it could be that. But it could also be grieving and mourning the loss of, maybe you had to move away from your hometown, and you're mourning that space, that land, that place. Maybe you are mourning the loss of a career, a job that you had to leave for whatever reason, or that you didn't get. Maybe you're mourning the loss of, maybe you had to make the hard decision, the life-wrenching decision of placing your child up for adoption, and you're grieving them. There's so many definitions of grief, and they all count. They are all worthy. They all deserve this space to be held for them, for you, no matter what your where you place in that realm. So if you're grieving a pet, a job, a home, maybe your house burned down, maybe you're grieving a relationship, maybe you had to maybe you went through a divorce or a breakup, whatever that is, your grieving is worthy and valid to be heard, to be felt, to be seen, to be processed in all the different ways. And we don't want to, any type of grieving, we don't want to sugarcoat. We don't want to just say suck it up, buttercup, let's all love and light. We don't do that here. We feel all the feels. We scream, we shout, we cry, we get pissed off. You can get pissed off. You could get so sad. You could get so mad. You could get so just frustrated, and it's making me want to cry talking about it, because again, there's no timeline to grieving. Even if it's been well over 20 years, there's no timeline for grieving. And that's okay. But there are parts of the grieving scenario that we are wanting to get help with. And we're working with, this month in our group, we're working with the Kaliak, and which is fitting. But we're also, so yesterday during our reading, we pulled the Kali card, and she is like, girl, I am not going anywhere. You need me? You need me. So she wants to hang out with us again today. So she's automatically in this reading. So she's standing tall and strong and firm in this. She's going to hang out and stay here. So, and then also in our series, by the book series, this morning we pulled the strength card. And so we're going to let her hold space here for us too, because we need that. So she's automatically in there too. And then, so I'm going to put those there. But let's go ahead and start with, no, we're just going to go ahead and start. So I was going to talk about some of the things I'm talking about that kind of tie in with the grieving, that are things that we're holding on to that we don't need to hold on to. Well, I'll just throw it, look, like blame and shame and guilt and all these things that, like, say if your grandfather passed and all of a sudden you're thinking, and so you've been carrying the guilt of, like, maybe you weren't able to be there whenever he passed, and you felt like you should have been. There's no reason why you shouldn't have been able to be there, but I should have been there. I should have been there, and you're carrying that with you, or maybe like you just keep blaming yourself because you shoulda, woulda, coulda on the time spent with them beforehand. Like leading up to that, like the years beforehand. Maybe you're just drowning in work or school or parenthood or whatever it is, and you just really hold that guilt of not deepening that relationship with them while you had the chance. So those are the things that I'm thinking that we need to work on, and that has been coming up in like my meditations and stuff like that, of what we need to work on for. And that's why I'm showing up here today, is for us to be able to get clarity on some of that and help us to release some of that, because those people that have passed on, that we're carrying all that guilt from, or the ones, or even the situations, the scenarios, the things lost, the even if it's people, places, things, if it's relationships, and not like someone's just in the spirit side, none of it is serving us well, or anybody well, by us carrying these things, and they don't want. And so the people that are in spirit, they're not wanting us to, they're not sitting over there going, that's good, you should feel guilty. You should feel, you think, I mean, really, seriously, you think grandpa's over there going, you think my granddaddy's over there, or my grandmommy, or my nanny, or my pappy, maybe him, but this, sorry, pappy, do you think they're sitting over there going, you should feel guilty, girl. You should. I do blame you. I do. Shame, shame, shame on you. No, they're not. They're not. They're over there getting all healed up. They're like in spa time right now and going, stop it. Stop it. They're telling you to stop it. And so they're telling you to stop it through me. So here you are. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And so there we go. Well, now we're done. Now you can carry on with your day. Just stop it. So anyway, but I like, in all truth and honesty, we're being open here. We're being open books. We're being and saying I carry so much guilt and blame and shame and all the things in my grief. I do, and it's been years. And I still do. I go it comes in waves, right? Like it comes in waves, and like when, like you'll be going through a time period and you're sailing along and you're like, I am healing. I'm doing so good. I'm so proud of myself. I'm healing. And then all of a sudden, smack. It's just slaps you upside the head again. All these feelings just kind of crash. That wave just crashes on you, and you feel it all over again. And you're like, damn it, I thought I was done. Here we are again. So, on that note, let's dive in. So we're going to close our eyes. We're going to be breathing in for a count of 4, holding, and then for a few seconds, and then releasing. We're going to do a nice slow release. So say around a count of 6, we're going to try and just really slow that down. Really ground us into this. Let's do 4, 3, 5. I don't know why, that just feels right. And just to really ground us into this space, help us to let go of the rest of the world around us, the rest of our day ahead and day behind and all the things, and just be here together in this moment to really give ourselves this time to help us, each other, with this grief, because grief is huge. It's a huge thing. We need to take it seriously. We need to take this part of our healing seriously, and to give us and allow us this time to do that. Okay, so breathing in nice and slow. Hold. Release. So that's breathing. We're breathing in that Mother Earth energy first, pulling it up from our lower half. We're just going to say lower half, our lower cauldron, we'll say, and pulling her up and allowing her to fill up that cauldron with love and healing, unconditional love and healing, and forgiveness. So much forgiveness, and just feeling her wrap her arms around us, right? So breathing in nice and slow. Hold. Release. And allow your exhales to be audible exhales. One more time there, breathing in. Hold. Release. So this time we're going to be putting our attention on our upper cauldrons, our upper, our crown, and all this area, throat, heart, third eye, all of that. Well, heart is more at the center, but so our throat, third eye, and crown. We're going to be paying attention there, pulling down that Father Sun energy, bringing down that source light energy of cleansing, clarity, all those things. So breathing in nice and slow. Hold. Release. Breathing in again, pulling down that Father Sun energy, just feeling that cleansing, feeling that washing away of all that no longer serves us. And we'll get into that in a second, more too, here in a second. Breathing in. Hold. Release. One more there. Hold. Release. Now into our center cauldron, our heart center, our heart space, and our solar plexus here. And I could be totally remembering all these things wrong of how they are lined up with the center, middle, and upper cauldron. So just bear with me. Don't believe anything I say. But we're breathing into this center cauldron and pulling in that beautiful divine feminine from Mother Earth, divine masculine from Father Sun, and creating this beautiful balance energy, which then we can send out throughout our whole energetic field, just giving us this sense of presence and balance and all the things, helping our intuition to have something to grasp onto, to hold onto. So breathing in nice and slow. Hold. Release. Breathing in. Hold. Release. One more time there. Just really give it with all your heart. Feel your heart expand with this one. Breathing in. Hold. Release. Unasiano tu, unasiano tu, unasiano tu. Calling in our angels and our guides, calling in our higher selves, calling in Jesus, Mary, Mary Magdalene, the Calic and Kali too, calling in our Ascended Masters, Ascension Council, Galactic Council, Ancestors of Love and Light. All of those are the highest, the high of love and light, and only those are the highest, the high of love and light. To be here with us, together with us today, helping us to be clear channels in every way, receiving and giving the exact messages in which we need to hear for our highest good today. Also calling in and asking for assistance from archangels Metatron, Michael, Uriel, Azrael, Gabriel, and Raphael to please be here with us together today, helping to create this space, this sacred space, cleansing and clearing all energy that does not belong here, and amplifying all energy that does for our highest good, our health and emotional health, mental health, physical health, all the things, just blasting us with all that beautiful energy. And please remember for you to do the same, calling in, grounding, connecting, all the things to make the most of this time and space together. Because it takes more than one. It takes both of us to make this truly magical and truly work. It cannot be just, you must equally receive and give to be able to equally receive and give, if that makes sense. Anasiano, equal exchange, equal exchange. Anasiano tuianoku, anasiano tuianotu, anasiano tuianotu. And they're saying like you may like go like, what am I giving? I'm just here. You're giving here your presence, and you're taking that time to connect with them and with us, like in this space and time, instead of just trying to like to consume and walk away, but really investing your time and energy here for the betterment of you, and which is also for the betterment of the collective, is a very grateful exchange. So thank you. So I wanted to back up because I feel like we're supposed to put emphasis on this. Whenever we do our exhale and we talk about releasing and letting go of all that no longer serves us, we really need to think about, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for us? And that intention, to tie the intention to that, it's almost like this isn't probably the best example, but like they're showing like a brick thrown through a window with a message tied on it, in the movies when they go, "You're next," and so they're saying like to tie. So like if you picture that as like the baseball you're about to toss through the window, so to tie your message to that, we need to really know like what it is we're wanting that is not serving us anymore. So yesterday we talked about the fear that's not serving us, that's holding us back. And then today, so that's tied to that baseball, right? That we're trying to toss and way far back into 2025 to leave here, right? And then now we're going to talk about grieving and the parts of grieving, that the healthy parts versus the not so healthy parts. So the healthy parts, the remembrance and the goodness of the, say if you're grieving the loss of a home, you either had to leave it for financial reasons, maybe it burned down, whatever it is. Really thinking back of all the good things that house brought you, like all the goodness that it gave you, all the goodness, like it gave you. Why is it that you're grieving them? Or the house? Why are you grieving it? Is it, and then all those is because of all those good things. So then we need to separate that from, why do you feel guilty from having to let go of it? Was that really like, do you feel like there would be any way possible for you to flip the switch and to not have had that happen? And how would that have affected your route that you're on now? Like, is it like, and what about like who's in it now, and how they're meant to be in it, or who was in it before, and then they had to leave it to pass it on to you, and then you had to leave it to pass it on to the next person, that kind of a thing. So really trying to like dissect this, or where we're at, and where we and why we're at where we're at. So then saying with the person, if you're mourning the loss of a loved one, whether that's a friend, a partner, a relation, a blood relation, or a non-blood relation, any of those things. Even if it could be like a teacher, or the store clerk that was always there with a smile, and all of a sudden they're not there with a smile anymore. Those kind of things. I don't know why all of a sudden that made me want to cry. I don't even know who that is, but I think it feels like it must be for you. But anyway, so in these aspects, thinking about, is the grieving more for us or for them? Is what's coming through right now. Is like, is it something that, is it serving us or is it serving them? And shouldn't we be like in our grieving, like where are we? And is it like in our ego mind, or is it in our like in our hearts? So if it's in our hearts, then we're remembering, oh, gosh, they brought, they brought so many goodness, smiles to me and to so many, and they deserve this time of rest and release and healing. And because that they're getting so much wrapped up in healing and everything right now, and stuff like that. Or is it because, or then on the flip side, oh, I'm never going to get to see them again, they're never going to be bringing a bright day to me again, kind of thing. And I know it's not like, doesn't come out that way specifically, but you know what I'm trying to say there, I hope. And same thing with like grandparents and stuff, if you're, or parents or whoever it is, who are you serving with your grieving? Where is that lining up? Like the guilt and the blame and the shame and all the things that we're tying to the grieving. How is it serving? Who is it serving? Are we thinking about what they would want even now, even with that? Or are we serving ourselves even now with that? Because so one of the things that came up this morning in meditation was, if we are just still wallowing in the blame and shame and guilt from our relationship and how we wish it would have, could have, should have, in that, or are we taking that lesson to better serve those that have passed and those that are still here in the present and those to come? Wouldn't it be better then to use those, instead of putting that blame, shame, and guilt and all that into that staying there, wallowing in that, which is all that serving is ego, or however you want to word it. It's not serving anybody, right? It's just keeping you held in the space. And why are we not wanting to move? Is there something underlying there that's keeping us, like are we using that as like an excuse to move on? But anyway, so what they're saying is wouldn't it be better then to use that instead of just staying in that wallowing space, but use it as a lesson to really put that into our present relationships, right? So if you're playing the blame, shame, guilt game with, and it's not a game, I know that, I'm not trying to make light of it, but just follow me. Because maybe you didn't put enough time or energy or whatever, you feel like you didn't, but hello, we're all human. This is life. We get busy. It's not... We really need to cut ourselves a break there. But anyway, if we feel like that, to honor those feelings, wouldn't it be better serving for all involved to then put that energy into our current relationship, so we're not doing the same thing all over again when they're not here? Even if they're young and thriving at whatever, 33 or whatever it is, you never know what can come tomorrow. Wouldn't it be better serving to put that blame, guilt, shame, all the things into the present day relationships instead of wallowing in the past ones that they can, and you can still have a relationship with them. You just can't see them. Some of you may be able to, but a lot of us can't, but we could still talk to them. We could still write to them in our journaling, in our automatic writing, and all the things. We could still have relationship with them. We don't, and so again, there goes that again. Are we just wallowing in that? Who is that serving? Wouldn't it be better serving if we just took that energy that we were spending going, God, I wish I didn't had to have done that. If I had had any other choice, I would have done things differently. Wouldn't it be better serving for all, for you to put that into better serving somehow now, here in the present moment, instead of all the woulda, coulda, shouldas from the past? All right. So I feel like, I know we just talked so much about all of that and we haven't even pulled a card, and I feel like we need to pull a couple at least here. Oh, they're saying that we don't need the cards, that they're coming through fine on their own, but I like them. They're pretty. All right, we've got, oh my goodness, look. The Death card. We haven't pulled her yet. Oh my gosh, see that tree? See all the stars in the tree, I'm assuming. Okay, so when you pull the Death card in a grieving, right? Like, tell me magic isn't real. Tell me magic isn't real when the first card you pull in a grieving reading is the Death card. Tell me. I feel like we're done. Bye. I'm out. Thank you, Callie. Anasiano tu. Waning Gibeus, count your blessings. Living in a state of gratitude. So that's going in the center there underneath the Death card. Okay, so what we are asking, so to be clear with our intention here, what we're doing here is, so we're asking for guidance and how, like, a little bit more guidance on all of this, on like living with grief, the separating the parts of grief, I'm assuming, and then like moving on forward in a healthier way. And then we're going to do a little bit of reading, of this reading, and then we're going to then go into our journaling like what we did yesterday, to really write out, like, see what comes from us and our guides personally, and then see what they have to say. We can connect with our higher self, even, or angels or guides, or whomever you're feeling like you need to connect with. You can even ask like your collective to like channel them, and through them like help to just process, like asking you how do we step forward and into 2026 with this new perspective on grief, and like how do we step out of the cycle of the unhealthy part of it and into just a healthier part of it, like allowing ourselves to move on in a way, but again, not saying we're going to snap our fingers and be healed and not ever be sad again. I don't know why I keep getting like, I must have like cream or something on my eyelashes. I keep getting these spots right in my vision. But but asking like, but you know what I mean. It's like, I hope you know what I mean. That we're just trying to, again, if you lost somebody, if you lost a child in whatever way, through death or adoption, there's no getting over it, right? But we can learn how to heal in a healthy way, right? And that's what, and the same thing with like, I've heard, I haven't, knock on wood, like lost a parent yet, but that's supposed to be absolutely, that's like heart-wrenching as well, right? But anything, it could be your partner of like, maybe you were married for like 30 years, that's like, and you lost them, that's a lot. And so we're not saying forget it and move on. That's not it at all. None of this is just easy. We're not saying to make it easy and move on. We're just saying like, how do we like still step into our highest timeline per se, or however you want to say it, or who we're meant to be. How do we step into our full power or full essence of in all of our magical being self and yet still carry this grief? How do we do that? How do we do these things, right? So that's what we're asking for help with. Okay. Anasiano tu. We've got the Two of Wands. All about perspective, baby. All about perspective. Why does he have just 1 foot? Oh, because it's on the other ledge. I don't know why that stood out to me, because I'm like, usually he must have his little knee up on the ledge. I don't know if I ever noticed that before, or ever cared to notice. I don't know. Anasiano tu, Anasiano tu, Anasiano tu. Queen of Cups. Okay, now the winter. So we have, okay, so as of right now, we have the Death card is up center. Then we have Waning Gibeus, which is Count Your Blessings right below her. To the left of the Death card is Strength. To the right is Kali. And then to the left of the Waning Gibeus is the Two of Wands. And to the right is the Queen of Cups. I'll take a picture. Dang it, I keep forgetting to post those pictures though. So remind me if I forget. 10 of Winter Cups. Oh, look at that. That does look like a longing, right? There's longing and sadness in that card to me. But it also doesn't have to be, though. It could be like reflection, like remembering the good memories in that, right? It's all about perspective. Okay. Ace of Winter Wands. She looks like she's in reflection and prayer time, doesn't she? Or she has that almost, though, that look and feel of like, I wish upon the first starseed tonight, that kind of thing. All right, 6 of Winter Swords. Which is interesting that it's 6 of Swords. And there is all that lightning, but it's still like solo. Yeah. Okay, that might be it. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to try and make some space here. Eek. All right. Here we go. Onasiano tu, onasiano tu, onasiano tu, oyanosu, 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 oyanosu. All right, so intention is betterment. Intention is becoming, better and better versions of ourselves each and every day, right? Like we're trying to improve. Not saying that there's anything wrong with us or anything like that needs to quote unquote change, but we are trying to live our best lives. So they're like saying, like, so laying it out on the table. We're just trying to be better versions of ourselves. Ana kiano suiano tuiano oyana kiano oyana. Siano tuiano oyana kiano tuiano oyana. Siano tuiano oyana kiano tuiano su ana sana ana kiano oyana. It's almost like they're showing like laying out a loaf of bread, all the little, like laying it all out there and picking out the parts, the slices with like any mold or anything that would make maybe spread to the other slices before putting it back, and then putting it back to the usable parts together and putting it back in the bag. And it's like waking ourselves up to what's going on. Like sometimes we can have like these sleeping parts of us that we haven't even realized that have been causing us, like, again, quote unquote, damage in our lives. Things that like have been holding us back, and we didn't even realize that what was holding us back. Like they're showing like, for me to share how last week, I think it was, it came up. I thought I had dealt with like with this is talking about yesterday too, like with the fear I thought I had dealt with a lot of these fears of lack, or fear of running out of, or having, like, it's almost like, for instance, like fear of, like, it could all be gone tomorrow, that kind of a thing. So you better make sure you have your backup beans, bread and beans, whatever, bread and butter and beans. So you, just in case, because you never know, because tomorrow it could all be gone. So you better have your backup. It's like that fear of, like, losing it all, because maybe you grew up in where you didn't have enough, or you were on the verge of not having enough, like, this is it, guys, make it stretch, kind of thing. And or even like a very highly traumatic childhood, where then if you're living in a good safe space now, having that feeling that that could all go away, and it could go back to being in a traumatic way, in which your nervous system became used to. And so, like, being worried about, like that fear too. And so they're saying that sometimes we could have these underlying things going on that we don't even realize are still causing us issues today. Same thing can go with grief. Like, some of the things that we have tied to our grief can be causing issues today, whenever we don't even realize that it's in play. We don't even realize that it's playing a part in our daily lives. Some of the guilt, blame, shame, all those things that we tie to grief, that we have tied to grief, and we've kept it, like, and so they're just showing, like, how, like, if we were in the water, and for every person or situation that we've tied something to, like, was a rock, right? And then we tied ourselves to it with rope. And so we've tied it, and then, like, whatever the situation is, to each scenario, each thing that we are grieving and having a hard time letting go. And it's keeping us way down to where we're, like, we're barely keeping our heads above water. So, of course, we're not making distance. We're not making our way with distance, and, like, getting to where we need to be, the shore, because we're treading water, because we're so weighed down. We're so weighed down with all of these underlying things that you can't see. You can't see it because your head's up here treading above water, but what's really holding you down is all these other things that we've been carrying around with us. Oyana siano tuyano kuyano tuyano oyana. Iana siano tuyano oyana. Iana kiano suyano tuyano oyana. So with Callie, she's, like, showing, like, we've been taught she's like, for one thing, we've been taught about death wrongly. She's saying that, like, we've been taught that it is something to be, like, feel horribly about, like, to feel, like, so ripped apart about, and feel like, oh, it's the end of the world about. She's like, but it's not. Like, we should look into it as a celebration, a renewal, a, like, cycling back through. Like, it's like a recycling. Anasiano tuiano kuiano tuiana kiano suiano tuiano oiana kiano suiano oiana. Like, part, just like the next part of our soul cycle, and that we should celebrate their lives that they led here, and then the lives that they will lead going forward, and then the time that they will have in the next realms, to be able to oyana kiano suyano tuyano oyana kiano oyana iana kiano oyana. I don't know, it just feels like it keeps feeling like how whenever, like, passing over through there is like going through, like, this, like, I don't know, like going to, like, a spa day for the soul or something, like a soothing, like, process. Like, it feels like there's, like, this soothing process of, like, we've got you, it's okay. It's like, it makes me want to cry, because it feels like a very, like, healing moment of, like, a soul gathering, like a something, whenever it goes, it's like a trauma healing, like, huge huge, like going, passing over, passing through. It just feels like stepping into like this soul gathering, and then they're just like, they've all got you, and then they're like help to put all the pieces back together and help you. It's like a balm for your soul. And again, so I could be totally wrong, but that's just the feeling it gets. Feeling I get is like going to a spa day that, although I've never been to I don't know what a spa day would be, but I'm just like, if one that doesn't make you feel weird about getting touched, but one that feels really good, and so that's what it feels like. So she's saying, like, why wouldn't we be happy for them? Because again, we keep putting emphasis on us. Like, I'm so sad. They're not here to be with me. Me. We've put the emphasis on me. And that, like, that's what we've been taught to do from day one. Like, what do I want? It's all about me. Like, what is my relationship with this person? What is my relationship to this house? What is my relationship to this pet? What is my mine? And they're like, it's not. The soul passing has nothing to do with you. It's all about them, and we should make it all about them. We should turn our attention all about them. Like, oh, praise be. Like, they're gonna get so much love and healing, and they're I mean, and we get to still have this relationship with them. It just changes, and that's okay, because it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about them. So if I have to change the way I speak to this person by doing it through automatic writing, or like changing it to like a prayer form, that kind of thing, then that's okay, because this is about them. It's not about me. So changing that to like changing our perspective from, it's not about me, it's about them. It's not about me, it's about them. It's not about me, it's about them. Oyana siano tu, oyana siano tu, iana kiano su, iano tu, iano oyana kana, iano oyana. So she's also saying about like the all the, like how we talked about before, about this is the gratitude bits, like just being so grateful for all those moments, all the time that you did get to spend with this person or this place or this thing, or experience, or whatever it is for you. Just being so grateful for all those parts, wrapping that relationship, wrapping that instance, or all the different ones that you've had, instead of, so it's like, if we do that, if we learn to wrap in these boulders, instead of adding more weight of the despair, and start adding the balloons of gratitude, then it lifts us up. Like all the things that person, how they enriched our lives. How did they enrich your life? Did they inspire you to be a better person? Thank you so much for that. Did they did they make you laugh? Did they make your soul be filled with joy? Thank you so much for that. Looking for that, like grasping onto those balloons of moments of love and gratitude and lightness that they brought to you, holding on to that and allowing that to lift you up, instead of we have to change our focus from all the things we wish we could have done or would have done, or the ways we wish we would have been with them, or the choices we wish we would have made, and changing those into, I am so glad I got to spend time with them in this way. I'm so glad I got to learn from them in this way. I'm so glad I just had these moments with them in this way. Changing that perspective. From the despair of grief to the joy of grief. The love that's in grief. The joy and love that's in grief, instead of the despair that's in grief. Changing perspective. It's not about me, it's about them. Changing perspective. It's not about the woulda, coulda, shoulda been. It's about what was, what is, what always will be. Searching out and grasping onto those amazing, wonderful moments of hope and love and joy from the past that you could bring into the present and into the future. You can even use this time, instead of, again, living in the hurt and pain, and switching the perspective to the balloon moments of gratitude. They're saying, like, sharing that then gift. Sharing that gift. Did I ever tell you the story of when my Uncle Kevin put his thumb in the freezer? That's a whole nother story. And it's true. But they're saying those are the ways that we can, the things that make you laugh, things that like bring you joy, even the thumb in the freezer, those are the things that we need to be holding on to. Not the grief, the despair in it. And don't you think that they would want you sharing those laughters and the moments of joy than they would be the bad? Don't you think that that's what they would want? Because again, it's about what they want. It's not about what you want in this instance. And if we could shift in this instance, if we could shift our perspective away from us for one moment and really see what's true, what is true, what is true, and that it's not all about you, then we can start healing from the grieving, through the grieving, with the grieving. Because grieving doesn't have to be full of misery and loneliness and pain and regret and shame and blame and guilt. It doesn't have to be laced with it, with darkness. It could be laced with light. And we need to keep replacing those threads of darkness, one by one, with threads of light, of the memories of the good and the joy and the laughter, the memories of the lessons learned. We must reweave our stories, turn them and shape them into ways in which will help our growth and help us to move on in a healthy way. Help us to carry on, not necessarily move on, but carry on. They're saying, listen to your words in that too, because sometimes we feel guilt in that moving on. So they're saying, just change your words. Change your words. And within changing your perspective, we can change our words. We don't have to move on, but we can carry on. We can carry on and carry them with us in a healthy way, right? It's like, I don't know why they're showing this. I don't know why they're using this imagery, but it cracks me up. So they're showing like this old-fashioned big giant station wagon, and you've got your poor old Uncle Kevin. Sorry, Uncle Kevin. We're dragging him. He's like tied to a rope. Dragging him. He's bouncing around on the road, and we're just driving along, and he's bouncing the road back there, being dragged by rope. That's no fun for anyone. So they're saying, wouldn't it be healthier and better to actually put them in the back, like in the hatch, or even on top? They're like anywhere but being dragged behind by a rope. They're like, anything's better than that. Bring him along, carry him along. Don't just move on, dragging him around. Carry him on. Whether it's to the luggage rack or putting him in the back, but carry him on. Don't just move on, dragging him around by the rope. was funny. Okay. Anasiano tuiano uyana. Iana tiano suiano tuiano uyana. Iano suiano tuiano uyana. Iano suiano tuiano uyana. So, some grieving we've carried so long, for so many years. It feels like it's part of our being, part of our bones. It's in our bones, it's in our bones, it's in our bones. It's what keeps us stoic. We feel like it's what keeps us strong, right? Oyana kiana siano tuiano oyana kiana suiano tuiano oyana. I have survived kind of mentality. I have survived mentality. Look at how strong I am. Look at how, like, what I have been through. Ana siano tuiano oyana kiano oyana. But they're like bones. Bones can break. Bones can break. Bones can break. Bones can break. And then it's like, and then what happens? Like, then they're showing, like, if one of these bones were to break, just all this gushing out. Like, it feels like if you've just stuffed it all in your bones to hold you up. And that's just like, it's like this, the house of cards kind of feeling. Like you've just like keep shoving it all in your bones. And it's like, that's keeping you up nice and tall and strong with your chin up, and you're all stoic, and you're like, this is how strong I am. I've been through this. I've been through that. And it's in your bones. The grieving's in your bones. But if one of those bones was to break, if something was to shatter that illusion, because they're saying illusion, it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. This stoic act you're putting on, this face, this of armor, this mask of armor, of being so strong and put together and being able to carry on in a way of like, look at me, I'm so strong. They're saying you don't do it on purpose. This is your survival thing. This is not something to be ashamed of. This is your survival thing. Like, you just kind of like, okay, this thing happened. Chin up, shoulders back, carry on, move on, let's go. I can do this. This is how strong I am. I can do this. But anytime, this is the part where it's like these waves come crashing back in. Because if any one of these bones was to break or to bend just a little too far out of whack, any like scenario that will kind of slaps you in the face, anytime like the boat is rocked, or like any kind of change in the atmosphere kind of thing, all of that. So say one of those bones was to break, like something else happens to trigger something, and one of those bones breaks. All of that emotion that you've been stuffing up in there, you've been just stuffing it up here and there, almost like you're like one of those scarecrow bodies or something where you just stuff it up like for Halloween, you know? They're like, if one of those breaks and all that stuffing comes out, all that emotion comes flooding right back out, and you're back to where you started. Then you got to take that time to stuff it all back in there again, sew it back up, get stoic again. We'll just stuff it all back in there. We're not going to deal with it. We're not going to show that pain. We're not going to show the hurt. We're not going to show that we're human. We're not going to show that we have emotions, a rainbow of emotions, because we're stoic, we're strong. We always keep carrying on. Iano suiano tuiano oyana. But grief and pain are real things, tangible things. Ana siano tuiano oyana kiano oyana. Ian, it's things that can't be keep sweeping under the rug, or it's like you keep tripping over those lumps in the rug, right? Ana siano tuiano su. So we must allow ourselves to feel all the feels. Allow ourselves to, along with all the other ways that we've already talked about, like thinking about the joys and all of that, allow ourselves to cry too, of like the missing them. Just allow yourself the grief in that, the pain in that. Allow yourself the sadness in that. If you need to go sit by a river, too, there's just showing sitting by the river, because something about like, you know how water makes you want to pee? Like if you gotta pee and all of a sudden you're hearing water everywhere. There's a dripping faucet, there's a waterfall, all the things, and you're like, I gotta pee so bad, stop. They're like, but it's the same, like water attracts water, they're saying. Like, so if you need to go sit by a river and just allow that, ask the river to help pull that out of you and to release that. Again, you're not to move on, but to carry on in a healthier way. Help to draw out my tears that I feel so near. Help to draw out the tears that I feel so near. Help me to release. Help me to release. Help me to release. And then again, like they're saying, like offering them up, like your tears, offering them up in gratitude and thanks for that time that you had with this person, place, thing, or experience. In gratitude. Changing your perspective even in your tears. Offering them up in gratitude. And they're saying there's something with that. Like they're saying there's like a deep healing in that. Change of perspective instead of it, again, because that's what it is. Okay, I see. Because you're shifting it away from about you to about them or that thing or instance, whatever it is. You're changing it. You're offering it up to them. It's a gift. And you're reminding yourself of the gift that they had, or it had, or the experience had for you. So it's changing that cycle of grief and despair to grief and gratitude. Changing the cycle from grief and despair to grief and gratitude. Shifting the perspective away from about being all about you, in your guilt, and your blame, and your shame, into the gratitude about what they bring into your life. Or brought. They use bring, I think, because it rhymed, but or brought into your life. That thank you. Wrapping up your tears and thank you. Thank you so much. And they're saying when we do that, it helps us to grasp more onto the balloons, which lifts us up, instead of the heaviness of the despair of whenever you turn it all about you, what you didn't do, or what you this and what you that makes it heavy and keeps us to where we cannot move on. We cannot carry on when we carry so much of the blame, shame, guilt game. When we carry that, we're not moving on. We have to change that into the gratitude. We have to change the despair into gratitude. Flipping grief on its head. Allowing it to be all about them. In which it should be, right? They're the ones that died. We didn't die. Right? We get to be here and keep carrying on. We get to be here each and every day. We get to wake up and say, I get to be here to make a difference in this world today. In somebody's life. I get to be here to do that. So I can do that. Or I can grab on to gratitude for being able to do that. Or I can stay in the guilt I could stay in the grief of despair instead of the grief of the grief and with gratitude. My little heart. Here's another little heart. My little people send me hearts. So do we want to? Which way do we want to go? Do we want to go with the grief that's wrapped in despair, or the grief that's wrapped in gratitude and love for what they brought to us in the time that they were here, or the house, or the career, or whatever it was? Which way do we want to go? The one that lifts us up, or the one that holds us down? And it's, again, though, they're saying too, like, remembering it's not all about us. What would that person want? What would serve the whole better in this instance? Even if it's a house. I mean, even if it's a house, it feels like the house has, like, they're more than just, it's more than just walls, right? Does this house that I'm in right now, Miss Freya, that's her name, would she find joy in us? If we had to go live somewhere else, would she find joy in our misery? Would that help her be able to carry on with who's here next and bring them joy? Or would that make her sad and make it harder for her to bring them joy? Because again, remember, it's not all about us. It's not all about us. We have to change our perspective and what serves the best as a whole. And that in turn will help heal layers by layers. They're saying it'll be kind of like peeling or skinning, something where it's like, it feels like every time we make that choice, that conscious choice to flip it, the coin, the grief coin on its head, every time we make that choice to consciously think about it differently, then we are peeling back a layer and allowing us to heal on a deeper layer. Every time we say, no, I'm not going to go to the guilt thing. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to give myself the assignment of what are 3 things I'm grateful for about that person, place, or thing, or whatever it is. Like that the gratitude in them, what they brought into my life, or what it brought into my life, whatever. I'm going to change my thinking right now in this moment to that. How can I let's do that. And they're saying every time you do that, it takes a nice little thin layer off. It's like it feels more like, you're making those, you're peeling something, but you're using those peels. It's just like you're thinly shaving. You're using these shaving, like you're maybe cheese or something, and you're thinly shaving, and each one of those little shavings just helps you each time. It just helps you a little bit more heal on a deeper level. Because they're like, you're okay. So they're showing like sometimes we're holding on to all of that, the despair part of grief, because we don't know what else to hold on to. We feel like if we let go of that, then we lose them altogether. And they're like, that's not true. That's a lie we have told ourselves. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. We have to change the story. We have to change the story of our heart and our minds, one scenario at a time. And every time we flip it, the perspective, and making it about them, making it about gratitude, making it about love, then we're helping to rewrite that story. Because that's not the only way you're holding on to them. And it's not serving anyone by living in that guilt. Yes, maybe you could have done better. We all could have. We all can. But maybe you couldn't have. Maybe it wasn't meant to be in whatever way. Maybe you're just being too hard on yourself. Maybe you're not looking at the truth of things. Maybe you really were busy. Maybe you really were like raising kids or in a career building up something or whatever it is, and that person that's gone, they're okay. They don't blame you. You blame you. They don't blame you. And again, who's it about? It's not about you. It's about them. So you blaming you isn't serving them because they don't blame you. So we need to peel off the layers one layer at a time, changing our perspective, one instance, one moment at a time. Every chance that we get, as soon as we start feeling ourselves sinking back down into that grief of despair, changing it to grief of gratitude and love. Changing it from about me to about them. Thank you so much, Freya, for giving us this safe, healthy, happy home that's been full of inspiration and motivation and love. Thank you so much to Uncle Kevin for providing a safe place, full of laughter and love and animals. So many animals. And fields. And being able to run free and feel safe. Thank you. Thank you to, and I could keep going, but you get what I'm saying here. Instead of being like, I should have called more. I should have visited more. I should have. Who is that serving? Absolutely nobody. But how can I take that lesson and apply it to today? Who is it that I'm not calling or visiting enough that maybe I could call or visit some more? Which now I'm starting to feel guilty. So maybe I should put that into practice. So thank you for that lesson. Okay, is there anything else that we're missing besides we need to get to our writing? Because goodness, it's already over an hour. Okay. So be who you want to be who you want to be in all the different ways, and being that, like, so they're saying one of the best gifts and things that we could do for those who are past is like any of those, like if there's parts of them that you loved, be that. Like, implement some of those parts into who you are, if that's what you want to do, like if that's what you feel called to do. And you can also just like so you can implement parts of them into your being. So that's one thing that we can do as a gift to that person. Because again, we're changing the narrative, we're switching perspectives, all about them. So that would be a gift to them, implementing things that they did that we really thought were amazing, that we are grateful for. Then switching again, or we can do like even just like putting something that reminds you of them in your environment. It could be a picture, it could be an object. It doesn't have to be anything that came directly from them. If it reminds them of them, to where every time you look at them, it brings you joy and you send gratitude. And you could say, looking at it, you could be like, thank you, whomever. Thank you. Or thank you for that time, or thank you for whatever it is. Allow yourself to, like, we're just switching the narrative on grieving. And then so that's two. Like, you can have that physical thing, you can implement it, things. You can also, and then you can have the physical thing where you're sitting. It's to them. It's about them. It's not to keep you anchored in grief and sorrow. It's to keep you anchored in the gratitude of it, right? And then all these different ways of thinking of ways. And they're like, in number 3 is like, the writing thing, they're bringing up the writing thing again, that you can write to them in the automatic writing, and we could do that right now. That could be, you can, so if you want to, instead of asking for your higher self to come through or whatever, just write to this person or place, or even if it's a job, you can write to that. Like, I really write to that as an entity, and just write out all of your feelings, because again, they don't want us to stuff our emotions, our thoughts and feelings away into the bones that could break, and then that would let it all rush out again at any given moment. They want us to allow our emotions to flow through, allow the tears to flow, but we're just changing the narrative on how they flow, instead of it being all about me and my grief and my pain and my blame and my shame of how I could have been better in that instance. Like, just like making it all, how can we shift it to being all about that person, place, or thing, and changing it into love and gratitude, changing it around into love and gratitude, changing it into rotating it, flipping perspective, like changing the narrative in that. Like, how can I just do better in this and be better in this? How can we can make this like, so, because this is the thing too, they want, and more than anything, they want to be your guiding light. They don't want to be the rock that sank your boat. They want to be your guiding light. So how can we do that? How can we do that? How can we do that? How can we help them be our guiding light instead of our sinking boat? So let's write about that. Write to them about that. And like, how can we, like, maybe even like, if you do feel, yes. Okay, so if you do feel the blame, the guilt and all of that, write it out. Write a sorry letter. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, and then just start writing and see what comes up. And you may just find that they might be saying, well, I'm sorry too. You know, there's two people in this relationship. There's two of us here. I could have done better too. Right? We tend to like take all the guilt onto ourselves when there's not but when they're there, you're like, it's all you. When they're not there, it's all me. But it takes two, right? But then we need to, but we're asking that when we lay it down, that from that moment on, we lay down our sorries, but then we allow them to be our guiding light from then on out. We take the lessons learned, implement in our daily lives now. So if we feel like we didn't do this or that, and we really truly, because again, sometimes we're just being too hard on ourselves, maybe we can take those lessons and apply them to today, to do better today. And then just shifting, allowing the relationship with that person that is gone, place or thing that is gone, to change from today on. Flipping it, how can I just leave it all on the paper, on the page, and change that relationship to where it's more about them and not about me, more about gratitude and love and less about like the blame, shame, guilt thing. How can I allow them and the situation to be a guiding light, a helping hand, the balloon instead of the boulder? How can we change that? Let's leave it all on the paper and figure that out together. And if you have anything you would like to share, I would love to hear it. I really appreciate you being a part of this journey with me. This is not easy. Grief is not easy. This stepping into this next role of grief, changing the role that grief has been playing in our lives will not be easy. And that's why they're saying it's one little onion peel at a time, and allow ourselves to do that and take that time with it. Allow ourselves the grace and the forgiveness to do that. Forgive ourselves from I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. Tell yourself this. I forgive you for all the time you feel like you've wasted, because you didn't. It was for a reason. And the despair of it, the grief, instead of the love and gratitude of it. I forgive you. I love you. I'm sorry for the part I played. And we will now walk into stepping into the new, changing the role of that grief plays in our daily lives into love and gratitude instead of despair. And we'll do that together. Amen. And so it is. Okay, so let's just take a few minutes. Let's write our letter, or write whatever it is to whomever you need to write to, whether they are still here or gone. Because these, again, grief could be a relationship of with somebody that is still here. It doesn't make it less of a grief, if that makes sense. I will see you in just a bit. Amen, and so it is. Thank you so much. I pray that you found even a golden nugget in here today. And I would love to hear how that is for you and what that is for you. And I don't know, any part of your story that you wish to share. All right. Thank you. Much love.